This is me trying to suppress the urge to tic. Tourette's syndrome, also known as Tourette's, is not just about the physical and visual display that you see from the outside. Although considering the blank stares and sideways looks of confusion that are directed towards me on a regular basis, I can easily understand how the general viewer may have never gotten past the initial assumption that we Touretters are socially inept creatures who simply cannot help ourselves from twitching, making bizarre noises, and generally being inappropriate. We are far more intricate than that. There is an intense psychological component. Contrary to standard beliefs, Tourette's is not completely involuntary, although it is nearly impossible to abstain from the urge to tic or twitch for any length of time. The urge or voice in my brain gets louder, and I start to feel like I'm going to jump out of my skin if I don't tic, tic, tic. There's a very demanding and nagging voice in my brain that seems to want to test its own limits. Instead of my mind and body working together, they are practically foes at times because it feels like my brain is constantly and quite intentionally commanding my body to jerk and move in a painful or disruptive way a certain number of times. This is where obsessive-compulsive disorder ties into it. In a way, these movements are physical manifestations of my compulsive nature. Why it manifests itself through these physical joltings or noises has to do with my excess of the neurotransmitter dopamine. Many people don't realize how tormenting and physically taxing these tics are. Although an eye-blinking twitch may not be all that painful, I can guarantee you that blinking your eyes hard 13 times in a row is extremely disorienting. Upon the release of a tic or combination of tics, there is a sense of relief and satisfaction for having completed the physical task at hand. But the satisfaction is short-lived, and within seconds my brain sends out another unreasonable task and the sensation builds again. They're very much like the violent contractions of childbirth, continuous and painful, one after the other, with only short breaks in between. But this labor is in vain in that I've given birth to nothing, except for the release of an irrational, compulsive urge that I will undoubtedly relive hundreds, if not thousands of times every day. Tourette's syndrome can be disabling to varying degrees, but there are plenty of advantages that coexist with this disorder. My brain functions a bit differently. Therefore, I see things differently, which may be a great asset to a generation whose imagination needs awakening. It is difficult for me and others with Tourette's to extend our unique perspective to a world that at large fails to see us as a necessary component to understanding the evolution and complexity of the human mind. I am asking you to stop looking at people with neurological disorders as being less than, and realize we have something very valuable to offer. I believe there are artistic qualities in Tourette's syndrome. The way these individuals move through the world is a compelling language system that, when observed through the right lens, can be perceived as a dance.